So we rely on community support and volunteers. We're a small grassroots nonprofit. Much of our funding comes from the federal government, and it is expected to be a public-private partnership. So it's underfunded because as an agency and as a CEO and as our board, we're expected to bring private resources. So sometimes that looks like cash donations, and oftentimes it looks like volunteer support and in-kind donations. So we have a pretty small staff, particularly on resettlement and welcome corps. And so without the support of volunteer groups, without school groups, without other small nonprofits, and just everyday Americans who want to assist, we would not be nearly as successful as we are. And so I spend a lot of time reaching out to volunteer groups, reaching out to schools, reaching out to universities. Also because I just want people to get involved in welcoming newcomers and people who are forced to flee their country, because it's so gratifying for you as an individual, but it's also so important for the people that are arriving. And so we rely really, really heavily on the local community, particularly in Northern Virginia and DC, and then with our private sponsor organization role around the United States. So it's integral for our success and for making sure that clients have what they need when they arrive.
I think it's huge and it's very important. I think that especially there are maybe a lot of misconceptions sometimes. There may be misunderstandings, differences in culture or exposure. And I think that when the community and different members of the community are involved and you engage in activities, you get to see that really we may not be that different at all.
Resettlement path or mission is very huge, and one organization cannot do it by itself. There are different sections or different tasks that some organizations are good in doing that. For example, enrolling in a school, employment, and medical referral, or career building, mental health. So we have built a good relation with other organizations and partner and community members that are being helpful and helping us to achieve our goals.
So it's integral. We literally cannot function without our community. We need volunteers. Volunteers are a part of every nonprofit. And sometimes those volunteers become a regular part of our staff. But also it's important because the community is who spreads the word about the good work that's being done here, but also gives back to them as well. And the more people from our community that volunteer with REACTDC, the stronger we are as an organization. We can't do it ourselves. We need our community roots to sort of spread the word, get things done, fundraise, all of that. So through the sponsorship program, we are currently trying to mobilize through the community to find people who would like to become private sponsorship groups. So that's just one example where the community is huge. I can't fabricate. I can't cold call people and just ask them, like, hey, do you want to be in a group? Like, usually those come out of established organizations, religious organizations where people are already a community and they decide together they want to come together with their friends or their coworkers or whoever and form these small sponsorship groups. So that's one example of where it's hugely important because the sponsorship program relies entirely on these groups of 5 or more Americans to come together and help these folks out of their situations.